Hi everybody, this is Kurt Hollowell with Dog Eat Dog Games for another tutorial on our procedural spaceships tool. Let's go ahead and get into Unity here, and this tutorial I'll be covering Demo 2, which is under Assets, Plugins, Procedural Spaceships, and Scenes. So if you go to the Demo 2 scene and hit play, you can see we have a button here to create a bunch of different spaceships. We have some controls for adjusting the colors on the spaceships. And then we have some options here. I'm going to go back to the original colors. You can create thrusters and turn them on. And you can also shoot bullets. Let's get a new ship. There you go. Let's turn on 3 thrusters on that ship. Shoot a bullet. You can shoot up to 7 bullets at a time on this ship. So you'll notice that every time you generate a new ship, this number of shots and number of thrusters might be slightly different. That's because as a ship gets generated, it identifies points of interest that you might want to either shoot from, those are points in red, or place thrusters, those are points in gray. And I covered this a little in the past tutorial, but you can adjust this number of points, which basically determines the complexity of the ship. So if you have this low, then you'll get some simplistic looking ships. Slightly higher will give you slightly more complex, and so on and so forth. You can make that number high if you want to have a more complex looking spaceship. And you'll see that has more shots that you can shoot at a time, and so on. So what I want to cover in this tutorial is this network of points and how you use it to place thrusters and shoot from. So basically, once the ship gets generated, there is a point network script that gets attached to it, and it has 3 lists of points. This points list just has all of the points. Front points are the points that you'll see show up in red where you might want to shoot from, and then back points, which are points in gray. And if we go into our AI controller script that I have as a demo, you can see how we're shooting. So I have this shoot method that's getting called, and basically it says, okay, how many shots do we want to shoot? And it's grabbing the min of shot count, which is a variable on the script that you might want to adjust. Like if you level up, you can shoot more, or so on or so forth. And then it's getting the min of that, and then how many points that we have that are possible to shoot from. And then it's just a simple for loop that basically each time grabs a bullet, adjusts the color of the bullet, gets one of the front points from the point network. So this is just the point network script I just showed you, and it's saying get front point. You just pass in an index, and it'll give you that point. Then I'm putting a bullet at that position. And then here, just saying, okay, what's the forward vector of the bullet? We want to orient the bullet in that direction. So I'm just simply getting the shot point minus the bullets, minus the position of the ship itself, and that's the forward vector that you want to shoot from. And then basically just adding a force at that vector. So that's how you shoot. And I want to also cover the object pooler. This comes as kind of a bonus in the script. Basically, an object pooler script, if you haven't seen it before, is a way to save yourself some performance by enabling and disabling objects instead of instantiating them. So if you have a space fighter game and you want bullets flying everywhere, you don't want to be creating and destroying those bullets because that costs a lot of CPU time. Instead, you can have all of the bullets in your scene already and then just enable them when you want to shoot and disable them once they hit something. You might also want an object pooler for pickup items. If you have a bunch of enemies, instead of spawning the enemies, just enable and disable them. Explosions, effects, anything that you're going to be using a lot of, you want an object pooler. And basically this object pooler, the way it works is it has a dictionary, and you can put in different categories of items. So let's say I had another category called pickups. And under here I would place a a prefab of the pickup and make a bunch of them and place them in the object pooler by increasing the objects to pool list, naming it, say name it, and then dragging the objects in. Let's name all of these, pickup as well. So, and if you don't know this, you can lock the inspector and then select a bunch of objects and drag them into this objects to pool. So this is basically saying under this category pickup, I want to pool all of these objects in my scene. And once you hit play, it will disable these objects by default. And then every time you need one, you can call get object on the object pooler, and it will return the first inactive object. There's a few parameters we can go over here, like instantiate pool. If you don't want a ton of stuff just floating in your scene, which takes up some space, you can just have one object in this object to pool, and it uses that as kind of a prefab and instantiates a pool of the specified size right at the beginning. So basically you're still doing the instantiate calls, but at least you're doing them all at one time in the beginning during the loading screen. And then after that, you don't have the performance hit when you're creating or destroying objects. Finally, there's this can grow Boolean, and basically that is dictating if the pool can grow. So let's say we're shooting bullets, and right now I have 20 bullets in my pool, and I've shot the 20th bullet, and I say, oh, get me an object, but all 20 bullets are active at the moment. Then if this can grow variable is true, then it will instantiate a new bullet and add it to the pool. If this variable is not checked, then it just will return null. Finally, there's a hide in hierarchy thing. So if you're creating a bunch of bullets and you don't want to see them pop up in your hierarchy, you can hide them. So that's basically the object pooler script. I'll just look at that one more time so you can see how I used it. Back to this shoot method in my AI controller, you can see right here I'm calling object pooler.instance.getObject, and I'm passing in basically a name. What that name is whatever I've named it here in this objects to pool. In this case, I just named it bullet. So in my AI controller, I have a variable, which is a string, just called projectile name. And that's just a string. So it's using this to say object pooler, get me something named bullet, and it looks in this dictionary and says, okay, I found this list of bullets, and it'll go through the list and find the first inactive one and return that to you. Yeah, so that does it for this tutorial. As always, you can check us out on our website, doggeatdoggames.com, to see what games we're working on or get some support. I also encourage you to follow us on Facebook at doggeatdoggames or Twitter at doggeatdoggames. All right, have a good one, and happy coding.